echoes of the eclipse as the solar eclipse fades. Alara finds herself stumbling through the streets of her great-great-grandmother's town in 1899, heart racing. The cobblestone roads, gaslit lamps, and unfamiliar figures all confirm that this isn't a dream. She has truly traveled back in time. Panic sets in, but she quickly realizes she has no time to waste. If she ever wants to return home, she must solve the murder before the eclipse comes again. Meanwhile, Izzy grapples with the strange emptiness of 2023. Alara's absence feels like a missing puzzle piece in a world that no longer makes sense. As she searches for answers, she uncovers an old journal, its weathered pages detailing eerie accounts of past eclipses, strange disappearances, and an ancient order sworn to protect the town from a looming darkness. The deeper Izzy digs, the more she realizes that the town she thought she knew holds secrets far older than she could have imagined. Back in 1899, Alara enlists the help of a reluctant sheriff, a hardened but insightful man who knows every crevice of the town. Together, they begin piecing together the story of the murdered victim, a scholar researching the eclipse's supernatural effects, but with every clue comes a new danger. The townspeople are tight-lipped, their eyes darting away when the victim's name is mentioned. And worse, Alara senses she is being watched. Soon, she comes face to face with the town's deepest fear, the vampire coven that lurks in the shadows. Whispers of their existence have circulated for decades, but now Alara must confront them head-on. With the help of a mysterious stranger who seems to know more about the curse than he lets on, Alara navigates between betrayal and trust, seeking justice for the murder while fighting to survive. Time is slipping away, and she knows that if she doesn't solve the mystery soon, she may never leave this time, or worse, she may be the next name added to the list of the missing. As the pieces start to fit together, Izzy realizes her role is just as vital. If she can uncover enough about the past, she may be able to help Alara from the future. But will they unravel the truth before the next eclipse seals their fate?
The mystery of the journal's hidden message. As Izzy flips through the old journal, the inked pages crackle under her fingertips, each entry more unsettling than the last. The town's history is full of missing people, unexplained phenomena, and cryptic warnings about the eclipse. But something feels off. The words are deliberate, almost coded, as if the writer wasn't just documenting events. They were leaving behind a secret meant for someone in the future. One evening, frustrated by the journal's vagueness, Izzy notices something strange. Under the dim glow of her desk lamp, certain words shimmer faintly, as if reacting to the light. She grabs a blacklight from her brother's room and holds it over the page. Suddenly, hidden markings appear, spiraling across the margins like a secret map. Numbers, symbols, and fragmented phrases point to something buried beneath the town. Following the journal's hidden clues, Izzy begins researching old town records. She finds mention of a forgotten underground chamber, one that was sealed off after a terrible event over a century ago. The chamber was rumored to house relics tied to the eclipse, objects of power that might explain why it affects time itself. But Izzy isn't the only one searching. As she gets closer to uncovering the truth, she realizes someone is watching her, tracking her movements. Is it a descendant of the original coven, desperate to keep the past buried? Or is it someone who has been waiting for the next eclipse, hoping to stop the cycle once and for all? Meanwhile, Alara in 1899 unknowingly plays her role in shaping the journal. As she investigates the murder and the town's secrets, she records what she learns, details that will later guide Izzy in 2023. But one wrong move, one missing piece of information, could derail everything. The journal isn't just a record, it's a bridge between timelines, the key to reversing the eclipse and breaking the curse before time seals their fates forever. When Alara first arrives in 1899, she assumes she is just an outsider looking into the past. But as she settles into the town, she notices a strange familiarity. Places she recognizes from old family stories, echoes of names from distant relatives. Then she meets a young girl named Margot, her own great-great-grandmother, wide-eyed and full of curiosity. At first, Margot is just a helpful presence, leading Alara to safe places and warning her about the lurking dangers of the town. But soon, something shifts. Margot knows things that she shouldn't, things about the town's darkest secrets, about the murder Alara is investigating, and even about the mysterious coven that haunts the shadows. As Alara digs deeper, she realizes Margot's family played a critical role in the events leading up to the murder. Her ancestors' family was connected to the victim, either as trusted allies or dangerous rivals. The murder wasn't just random, it was part of a larger scheme, one that involved the town's ancient history, the vampire coven, and the very curse that trapped Alara here. Then she finds something chilling, an old locket hidden in her ancestors' childhood home. Inside, a faded photograph of the murdered scholar. Beside it, a scrap of paper with a single phrase, "Blood runs in the eclipse." The phrase seems insignificant at first, but when Alara repeats it to the sheriff, his face pales. It was the same warning whispered before the last person vanished during an eclipse 200 years ago. As the next eclipse draws near, Alara realizes that solving the murder isn't just about going home. It's about protecting her family's legacy. If she doesn't uncover the truth, her ancestors' fate may shift, changing history forever. And if Margot is keeping secrets, is she trying to help Alara, or does she know something much darker? The sheriff's dark secret. At first, the sheriff seems like her only ally in this unfamiliar time, a man hardened by years of service, skeptical but willing to help. He knows every corner of the town, every face that comes and goes, and most importantly, every unsolved mystery. But as Alara delves deeper into the murder, subtle inconsistencies begin to surface. The sheriff always seems to know a little too much about the crime, details no one else remembers, insights that should have taken weeks to uncover. He never answers why he's so invested in this particular case, and when Alara asks about past murders, his face tightens, his grip on his notebook just a little too firm. One night, after sneaking into the town's archives, Alara stumbles upon an old case file, one that was buried deep within forgotten police records. The name on it sends shivers down her spine. The Night of Blood, 1679. It describes an eerily similar murder, committed under the glow of an eclipse, involving a scholar researching supernatural forces. The case was sealed by a sheriff long before her time, but the signature at the bottom matches the current sheriff's handwriting exactly. A horrifying thought creeps into her mind. Is he immortal? Has he been here, playing this role, watching over every eclipse for centuries? If so, what is he protecting? As she pushes for answers, the sheriff grows colder, warning her to stay out of matters she doesn't understand. Townspeople whisper about his past, rumors of strange happenings around him, bodies that vanished after he investigated them. Some claim he's connected to the vampires, that he has protected them for generations. Others say he's hunting them, waiting for the right moment to strike. Desperate for the truth, Alara follows him one night, and what she sees changes everything. Beneath the flickering lamplight, he kneels before the town's oldest cemetery, speaking in a language she doesn't understand. Shadows shift unnaturally around him, forming figures with glowing eyes. He isn't just guarding the town, he's guarding its curse. Now, Alara must decide, is he her greatest threat or her only hope of surviving? Lizzie's fight against time, a race against reality itself. At first, Izzy believes she's the stable anchor to this story, stuck in the present, unraveling the town's history to help Alara find her way home. But soon, eerie disruptions begin to occur. Objects in her home vanish without explanation. A street she's walked down her entire life suddenly has a building she's never seen before. People's memories shift. They recall events differently, forgetting names, places, even entire moments that Izzy is certain once existed. Then she makes a terrifying discovery. Alara's presence in 1899 is rewriting history. The longer Alara remains in the past, the more unstable the present becomes. Izzy realizes she isn't just solving a mystery, she's trying to stop time itself from unraveling. If Alara changes too much in 1899, it could alter the town's timeline irreversibly. Worse, If Alara fails to solve the murder before the eclipse returns, time could fracture completely, erasing not only the past, but everyone who was connected to it, including Izzy herself. Determined to stop this, Izzy dives deeper into her research, desperately trying to predict the changes before they happen. But the more she learns, the more she realizes she is also fading. Her reflection flickers in the mirror. Her voice weakens in conversations, as if she's becoming less real. The journal she found, the one that once seemed like a guide, now has missing pages, entries that once described her town now blank. It's as if history is erasing her, piece by piece. The final blow comes when she looks through old photographs of her family. In a picture taken years ago, she spots something chilling: a girl who looks exactly like Alara, standing in the background of a family gathering. She shouldn't be there, but she is. Izzy is running out of time. If she doesn't figure out the pattern, if she doesn't find a way to stabilize the timeline before the next eclipse, not only will she lose Alara, she might lose herself. At first, Alara assumes the eclipse is just a natural occurrence with an unfortunate consequence. But as she investigates, eerie details begin to emerge. The murder victim wasn't just researching the eclipse, he was trying to stop it. His work led him to old folktales, ancient rituals, and bloodlines connected to a powerful force that has manipulated time for centuries. He died before he could complete his research, but not before leaving behind one critical discovery. This eclipse isn't random, it's deliberate. Digging deeper, Alara finds that every 200 years, the eclipse pulls someone into the past, but not by chance. Only people whose bloodlines are tied to the original curse are affected. That means she wasn't an accident. She was chosen. Izzy, still in 2023, uncovers something even darker. Old records show that these past eclipses were accompanied by strange disappearances, but the people who vanished didn't always return. Some were lost forever, their existence erased from time, their stories forgotten as if they had never lived. Worse, every disappearance seemed to serve a purpose, like pieces on a chessboard being moved by something unseen. Then comes the chilling revelation. The vampires aren't just lurking in the shadows, they're bound to the eclipse. The curse was created by one of their own, a vampire whose thirst for power led to a ritual designed to lock time in place. The murder Alara is investigating wasn't just random, it was meant to prevent someone from undoing the cycle. Now, Alara and Izzy realize they are caught in a battle that has been fought across centuries. The only way to reverse the eclipse isn't just solving the murder, it's breaking the original curse. But to do that, they must face forces that have guarded the secret for generations, forces that won't let them go without a fight. The mysterious stranger who aids Alara isn't just a helpful bystander. His true identity is a revelation that changes everything. At first, Alara thinks of him as nothing more than an enigma, a man who knows too much about the town's secrets, who appears at just the right moments, always offering cryptic advice rather than direct answers. He seems to have a deep knowledge of the vampires and the murder she is investigating, as though he has witnessed it all before. His presence is unsettling yet oddly reassuring, as if he understands her struggle more than anyone else. But then she notices something strange. He never steps into direct sunlight. His movements are too precise, his reactions too calculated, and though he looks young, his eyes carry the weight of centuries. One evening, Alara finds an old portrait inside the victim's home, a faded sketch of a man who bears an uncanny resemblance to the stranger. The date on the artwork sends chills down her spine. 1679, the same year the first recorded eclipse disappearance occurred. The truth crashes down on her. He was the first traveler lost in time. Centuries ago, he was a scholar like the murdered victim, researching the very same supernatural forces. But when he tried to reverse the cycle, the vampires ensured that he failed, cursed him to remain trapped in the past, forced to watch each eclipse pull someone else through time without ever being able to escape himself. The stranger is neither fully human nor fully vampire. Over time, he became something else, a being caught in the twilight between mortality and eternity, forever searching for the next unfortunate traveler, hoping they would succeed where he could not. Now, Alara is his last hope. She is closer than anyone has ever been solving the mystery. But can she trust him? Has he truly been trying to break the curse? Or has he simply been waiting for someone to take his place so he can finally be free? His true motives remain unclear until the final moment, when the eclipse returns, and Alara must decide whether to rely on his guidance or take a dangerous path of her own. The mysterious stranger who aids Alara isn't just a helpful bystander. His true identity is a revelation that changes everything. Alara has always had strange, inexplicable dreams, visions of unfamiliar places, flickering candlelight, and a voice whispering her name in a language she doesn't understand. Growing up, she dismissed them as odd fragments of imagination until she traveled back in time and saw the exact places from her dreams: the winding streets, the eerie forest, even the abandoned church where she first encountered the stranger. At first, she assumes it's merely déjà vu, but the deeper she digs, the more she realizes the truth. She has been here before. Then comes the revelation. She and the stranger have crossed paths in different timelines before, though neither of them fully remembers how or why. She stumbles upon an old sketch buried within the journal, its edges frayed with age. It's a drawing of a girl from 1679. The resemblance is uncanny. It's her. The stranger, too, begins to sense something unusual about Alara. His cryptic warnings aren't just based on past travelers. He recognizes something in her, a familiarity he can't place. As they grow closer, fragments of lost memories begin to return to him. He recalls seeing her face in fleeting glimpses over centuries, always around the eclipse, always caught in its pull. Then the final piece falls into place. Alara and the stranger are connected to the original curse. Centuries ago, before the vampire's ritual locked time in its endless loop, there was one person who tried to stop it, a woman whose bloodline carried something powerful. The vampires erased her from history, ensuring no one would remember, but the imprint of her fight remained. Alara is her descendant, bound to the past through a force older than the eclipse itself. The stranger, lost in time, has unknowingly been guarding her return, waiting for the day when she would be pulled back and finally unravel the truth. Now, Alara must decide, can she trust him? Or has he been waiting for her all these years because she is the missing key to finishing what was started centuries ago?